So why should we even have manned underwater habitats?
Welcome to Colonize the Ocean podcast, where we discuss oceanic colonization, exploration, and education with your hosts Adam Jewell and Brendan Traxler.
So up till now, I think most of us know that the primary reason that there have been underwater habitats, and for the most part still continue to be them, and even most of the ones proposed today are all for scientific research that has made up a vast majority of the whole experience up until now. And there's something to be said for that. It has funded tons of research and been able to bring this dream of allowing the everyday man to live underwater, because often in business or in research and stuff like that, the scientists are the ones that have to do it first. You look at space. Now that we're able to, if you've got the money, go into space for a limited period of time, which was only for the roughest and toughest there for a while, because the space was cramped and you had to be trained for all this time. And likewise with diving. I mean, you look at scuba diving, it was very exclusive for the longest time, and as the technology advanced, they opened up to the common man. Same thing with underwater habitats. We're seeing that as well. So up till now, and even so, you've got Aquarius and you've got Fabian Cousteau's Proteus proposal, which are all scientific based. But the problem I see with those is most of those are ambient pressure, which means that the pressure inside has to meet the pressure outside for the moon pool or for whatever reason, which is usually the moon pool. And also, so it allows you to come and go as you please. Moving forward, especially for the common person, you don't want to have to deal with decompression. You don't want to have to deal with all that. So it changes things. But that's probably a conversation for another podcast. So scientific research is the main one. However, there are other uses, needs, and probably new areas that will be advanced. And one of them is the aquaculture. We could definitely see that playing a large role, because just think of it this way: there's going to be farms, and they're already to an extent, but they're out in the middle of the ocean. But if you've got these farms cultivating seafood in a controlled environment, these habitats can offer the potential to revolutionize the sustainable fisheries that there are, and they're providing an alternative to traditional methods and reducing the ecological impact of the seafood production. Right now, a lot of that stuff is being done on either a huge basis, like over in the, I think it's over like in the South China Sea and stuff along those lines, I believe it is. And even here in the United States, there are smaller areas like that, but it's one of those, it's almost like you leave it, you go check on it every once in a while. And I think one of the benefits of underwater habitats is that it has a permanent presence. Even if somebody's not in it all the time, you can have cameras, you can have all this documentation on there to monitor it. So if somebody has to leave for whatever reason, changing the guard per se or whatever, that can still get monitored. And some would argue you could do that without having people, and that's a valid point. But there's always going to be, well, for the foreseeable future, there'll be the need for some human interaction at some point, some part. The tourism and the underwater exploration aspect, it makes up probably the most PR friendly of them. That's really what's going to get people talking, is when you get these beautiful underwater habitats where people can go and stay at. You've got Jules right now, but once again, it was a scientific research habitat that got converted into something where anybody can go and stay. So you still have to dive down to it, get in it. Once again, I've stayed there. I'm an aquanaut now. I've been there for 24 hours. I plan on going back again. It is a great experience. If you're a diver, even if you're not, they have a crash course there. You can go and you can learn how to dive and stay there. I definitely encourage it. It's amazing. Like I say, there's not too many places in the world you can do that. So to have some place here in the United States that you can do that, It's very cool. But that leads you to if you can put these in locations that either have gorgeous view, coral reefs, lots of tropical fish, stuff along those lines that is inviting to the eye, you're going to be able to get those people that once in a lifetime experience. And you'll, once again, the ultra rich who often pave the way for a lot of this stuff, will want to put these on their private islands or wherever they may have them as well. So I think that is a big portion of where the PR, the front facing aspect of this will come, as well as a good chunk of the investment will come from people who are wanting their own one of a kind underwater habitat for whatever reason, or hotel chains, Airbnbs, etc. So I think that kind of ties into the hotel industry, like I said. So it's a private industry, but as well as working with corporate. So I think a lot of people put their hat on that being the thing that does it, but I always caution putting too many eggs in one basket. So I believe that that is going to be a thing in the future. How soon in the future, I don't really know. But I think it's one of the things, once you get those costs down there, which, again, the science community has been working on these technologies and stuff like that to bring them down. And the technology is there. One could easily be put in the water today, a whole lot cheaper than it could even 10 years ago. It's just who's going to be the first one to do that and bring it to market and make it marketable. And that's where we're at with all that. So another thing is emergency response. There's a lot of different areas as more and more stuff is moving offshore, whether it's wind farms or, oil derricks or whatever, that could possibly be a thing. Or even, hurricane areas. Land becomes an issue when it's all been destroyed by, look at the Hawaii here last year for the United States, where there's so much destruction over there that there wasn't places for people to go. So if you're able to have underwater habitats, floating or underwater really, that can be dropped in a location quickly or moved there, that could solve a problem. That's one that people don't really talk about a lot because, ships and stuff like that can be brought in. But if you're in an area that may be more prone to stuff along those lines, you could have those offshore and that could take care of it. Plus, there's tons of other business applications. One we've talked about countless times is data centers. And that's where, once again, not putting all the eggs in one basket, but that's a big one we're focusing on is underwater data centers. There's also underwater energy production, whether it's OTEC or hydro or some other form. You could have underwater habitats producing and storing that energy for offshore purposes. So there's a lot of different verticals, business, and once again, and like for the tourism industry or for private purposes, underwater habitats serve a multitude of uses, needs, and so that's kind of where we're at. So really, I like to try to leave these, as you know, if you've listened to many of these shorts by now, that I try to leave these with a question and a thought experiment to an extent, not too deep, obviously. But so this one is kind of as we're approaching this, as we're here in 2024, and there's so much movement in the floating space, and very soon, I've been saying this for years, and it just seems like it's getting closer and closer as technology's becoming more ample, whether it's 3D printing, now AI being able to solve a bunch of issues and simplify some of this stuff, and the marketing purposes, it's getting closer to a reality. And what would you want an underwater habitat to be? Obviously, everybody wants their own private one, but if besides having your own underwater house per se, where do you think the first ones are going to prop up? Will it be the tourism industry? Will it be a slew of scientific research habitats? Will it be the hotel industry? Will it be data centers? What will it be? So let me know. Shoot me a message. Throw it in the comments. Do whatever. But yeah. Let's talk about that. Let's figure that out. And we'll come back with another thought next week and another topic.